Simmer down. White people. Y'all racist. I like to start out with my racial material just to see who's a bitch, you know? So people can't handle it. You know, it's like, white people, can we just stop acting like all of y'all are racist? It's various degrees of it, but like y'all so afraid to admit it. You know, it's like, that's why it ain't gonna never go away. Niggas just don't want to be like, I'm a little racist, you know? Because this is how you know how racist you are, okay? There's an amount of black people that could have been in here when you walked in that would have made you go, wait a minute, am I in the right? That's how racist you are. That number of people is how racist you are. You used to things being white things. Because that's what racism really is. It's not about who you hate or don't or love or none of that. I mean, listen, obviously there's racists that hate people. Those are the professional racists. But all you amateur racists is still racist, you know? Because you see a racist as a bad, evil person. And since you don't see yourself as a bad, evil person, you think that you ain't never been racist. And that's where you fucking up at. Because racism don't got nothing to do with whether you're a good person or whether you love or hate black people. It's about your perspective, like the way you've been brought up to see the world and where you rank in it and who's beneath you and who's above you. That's where it is, right? Anybody could be racist. Look, I'll give you a perfect example. I Ubered here a few weeks ago. I Ubered here, had a spot here, Ubered. I go to get in the car. As soon as my hand touched the handle, the lady looked back and went, "Oh my God," and pulled off. Right? Now, does she hate black people? Who knows? Maybe not, you know, but all we can say for sure is that her reflex to seeing a black man try to get in her car was that I'm in danger. And listen, she came back around. I watched her on the app. She was coming back around. And I was in a hurry. I ain't gonna cancel, you know. So I get in the car, you know, and I don't let her off the hook. I keep it silent. I don't say nothing. I let it cook, you know. And eventually she broke the silence. She went, "Listen, I am so sorry. You just never know who'll try to get in your car around here." And I said, "Actually, bitch, that's what Uber is." They tell you who is gonna get in your car around here. That's how you would explain Uber to somebody. They give you a picture and GPS coordinates. Right? But she was so afraid of admitting that it was racism, she was doing all this other bullshit. She could have just been like, "Hey, you know what? It's a little racism, I'm working on it," you know? You know what she did instead? She changed the music. Yeah. When I got in the car, she was listening to, like, you know, Hall and Oates or some shit like that. And she tried to change it to rap music to try to make me feel better, to, like, calm the situation, you know. And it worked. It was early Drake, you know, very, very, very soothing. And I'm being perfectly honest, she was the best Uber driver I've ever had. She was whipping this fucking Subaru, you hear me? And she got me here on time. That's what really matters. Yeah, safe and on time, good temperature, good smell. She had mints, snacks, chargers. Man, and I'm an all's well that ends well kind of guy. I keep it a buck. I'm not gonna hold a grudge. I still gave her 3 out of 5 stars. You know? I took off 1 star for the racism, obviously. You can't just let that go unpunished, you know? And I took off another star because she was a black woman. I said, come on, sis. No, sometimes it be your own people acting funny, right? Sometimes it do. Now, a lot of y'all don't know this about me, maybe, but I am a Marine Corps veteran, right? And no. Right. I guess it makes sense to cheer before you know my story, but it wasn't even like that at all. Like, I wasn't heroic whatsoever. Y'all get the wrong idea. Like, you know, minorities mostly don't join the military out of patriotism. I joined in March of 2001. Yeah, 6 months before 9/11. I was just trying to go to school, you know. Yeah, 9/11 was my 9/11, personally. I just threw my whole plan off. And don't get it twisted. I'm not a traitor. I'm not a traitor. I love my country. I'm not in love, but I was never willing to die for my country, but I was always willing to help kill somebody for my country. So I think that's the most you can expect till we get reparations or something up out of here. But listen, the only reason I bring it up, I didn't do it for the heroic cheers. I just brought it up because, I was the only black person in my platoon for a minute, so I kind of became an expert in talking to white people about race, Y'all got a lot of questions. And that's how I know it's pointless, Yeah, I never changed nobody's mind. I wasted a lot of conversation. Nobody got better. You ever met somebody that was racist and then you ran into them 10 years later and they was less racist? No. It doesn't work. I'm retired from being your first black friend. I'm too old for that. I'm 40. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a starter Negro for you. If you don't have other black friends before you meet me, then that's a wrap for you. I'm not doing it. I don't want you to get it twisted though. I guess some people just assume what I think about shit, or like I'm wokey woke because I'm anti-racism. But that's mostly because it benefits me and people I care about. I'm really a piece of shit underneath it all, I'm comfortable with that, Deal? Okay, so y'all heard of Queen Elizabeth? This seemingly immortal, racist, crypt keeper looking bitch that finally fucking died when they found the Infinity Stones or whatever, killed that fucking cunt. Yeah. Grown all the fuck you want, you bootlickers. How dare you be a real American worshiping the royal family like they fucking matter? They are, listen. They are objectively the worst family that has ever lived. All they've ever done is steal shit, destroy cultures, and fuck their cousins. They just the Targaryens with no dragons. They not better than you. Anyway, old Lizzie was not supposed to be the Queen of England, okay? She was not in line to be the queen. Her uncle, Edward, was the King of England. He started fucking with an American woman named Wallis Simpson. No relation. Bomb-ass pussy, though. Wallis was originally married to a pilot. Back when pilots was new, very lucrative. She divorced that pilot, married a millionaire. Back when millionaire was as high as you could go. Divorced the millionaire, started fucking the King of England. Yeah. That pussy went pilot, millionaire, royalty. That's a hell of a resume for one vagina, is it not? Like her queefs are just the Jefferson theme song, you know what I mean? I'm sorry, young lady, The Jeffersons is a sitcom from the 80s where it was like a rags to riches story and the main part of the theme song was moving on up, right? So that's why these old fucks are laughing. But he wanted to marry her immediately, right? Less than a year, he was trying to get linked, right? And the problem is, the King of England is also automatically the head of the Church of England. And the church got to bless you being king, you know. And the Church of England didn't allow divorce at the time. And so they was like, hey, you can't be the king and marry a divorced bitch. So he just quit being the king. He's the first king and only king in history to just give up the throne. He gave it to his little brother. His little brother never expected to be king. He wasn't ready. It overwhelmed him. He had a speech impediment and a cocaine problem. 10 months into his reign, he dropped dead of a heart attack, and everything passed on to his teenage daughter, Elizabeth. And that is how we got stuck with that bitch for 90 million years or whatever the fuck. So ask yourself again, do you have quit being the king pussy? Now, if you say yes, I believe you, and I would just respectfully like to sniff it one time just so I can know for the future, you know?